Alright, I actually had to retake this one because I'm an idiot. So, but this is the Archangel Serena. So, forgive me if my voice is tired because I've did all these in like back to back to back. Let me just show all the stuff on this screen first before I get into the send-in modules and the gameplay and all that sort of stuff. This is your stat stick. It doesn't matter what you take for this. This is here to give you mana. So, the only thing that matters on this is going to be the crit rate and the fire rate. So crit rate, fire rate, and then sprint speed, you know, or grappling hook, doesn't matter, whatever you want to put in there. These are important. I like these for defense, and then just crit rate. That's all you need. The reason that we run that is because your skill 2, when you have it on, and you critically hit with an impact round weapon, it restores your mana. And Archangel build, it's only after you do a reload. So see how I get a buff? That means that my weapon will now do crits. So I'm losing mana. I do that, and now my mana doesn't go down, right? So every single one of those counts as a crit. So this is just your stat stick for infinite mana, is all it is. You don't even need to run it. So the other stat stick that you could run would be Peacemaker, and you would just run sprint speed or grappling hook. You can see I have it on this build. Options don't matter. I just have it for grappling to build onslaught buffs because some of the perks require you to use your grappling hook. So I just have it in here because of that. Fulsha, this is actually useful if you're doing onslaught 3. It's a good weapon to build because things have shields, and it just obliterates anything with a shield. But onslaught 4, the enemies do not have shields. They do not have arcane shields, so which is different. This thing blows up anti-void and anti-arcane shields, but these shields in onslaught 4 are not those, so you do not need this weapon for onslaught 4. It's only useful in onslaught 3. This is the inversion reinforcement. You don't need mana, so you can just run HP, and then I just run the damage reduction like usual. You need cooldown on this to hit the cooldown cap, and then crit damage because we're building crit. And then, like I said before, for my skill, Descendants, anybody that's tech or singular, I like running 2-piece Plague, 2-piece Enlightened Mage. Slayer set's going to be like 10% more damage, but you lose like 25% of your hit points, so I don't like doing that. I like this better. But if you want to, you can run Slayer. That's up to you. This is the RK tuning. I pick up the HP here. It's probably not really necessary, but you'll kind of see why, because my Ancestor mod kind of forces me to take it. So you see I still have 20,500, so it's pretty tanky as far as casters go. HP dog, sorry. I think that's everything out here, so I can just start talking about this right now. So my Ancestor mod, first thing, is obviously quite good, but that effect range is absolutely brutal. That requires me to run this to reach the range cap of 250% for her abilities. Sorry, for her abilities, so this one is 250%. So that would equate to this showing 150%, because this is your increase, and you start out at 100%. So 100% plus 176 is 276%. So we're 26% over the range cap for this ability. Which you can just obviously tell there because it starts at 4, and 250% of that would be 10, so we're at 10. But if I didn't have this Ancestor mod that was reducing my range, you could run Bio Expansion, which is a new mod, and you would pick up 50% HP. So if you have a different mod than this, then just swap this with Maximize Range, and you'll get a free 50% health. As you can see, you're kind of tanky, so you don't really need it, but if that were the case, you could, if you want to, take out these 2 points and maybe pick up like a point of crit or something. It doesn't really matter that much, or you could just keep the extra HP. It's kind of up to you. You guys can play it how you want to play it. Archangel does give you crit rate. However, this crit rate, as far as I'm aware, is a bit bugged at the moment. So, like, I should be crit capped, but I'm not actually crit capped because I believe it's not being applied correctly. So I'm at 52 with 72%. So this is something that maybe people don't cover as much, and it may confuse some people. But so see where it says skill critical hit rate 20% plus, and there's like a plus sign next to it. That is different than something like this where you see 65% with an X next to it. Those are two different things, and they stack differently with each other. So that is important to notice. However, it is not as important to notice because, like I said, I don't believe it's applying right now. It is either not working or not working the way every single other instance of this critical hit rate increase is in the game. So basically, if you see the plus, it occurs before the times multiplier. So Serena's base skill critical hit rate is 10%. So theoretically, that plus should mean that you actually have 30% crit rate. And if that's the case, then you need 200% increased critical hit rate to never miss a critical hit. So as you can see, I'm way above that. However, you'll see like half of my attacks not crit, which shouldn't be possible. So what people have been theorizing is that it is just adding this 20% on top of what you have. So I would actually be at 72.77 instead of over 100%. I should be at like 150% based off of how much critical hit rate I have. But that's obviously just not the case because something is broken with it. So just keep that in mind. This mod is not doing as much damage as it could be doing right now by a lot. So I do believe this build does more damage than Divine Surge by quite a bit. But as of right now, Divine Surge and this one are very close together with this being broken. So although the single target on this is a bit better. So but I don't know, they're different things. I wish they would have done more with Divine Surge. Anyways, sorry, I'm rambling. I shouldn't do that. But this is what I'm running. The rest of this looks really standard. This is for reaching the cooldown cap with our reactor. This is better than the alternative, which is front lines. We still run this for crit rate, although we shouldn't have to. This would probably be a flex point in the future, and you could probably do something else with it if you wanted to. But so long as this is broken and not giving us the crit rate, this is still really good. If they fix that in a patch note, then so be it. We would just replace this with something. I don't know what it would be yet. We do not need any mana. So let me go over. If you're looking up a guide, then you probably have already like equipped this mod and seen what it does, so you know how it works. So basically, when you fly, you shoot these explosions under you, right? And these explosions do pretty good damage. You know, does a bit. Whenever you use one of those, it refreshes the cooldown. I have to finish this in 10 minutes. It refreshes the cooldown on your 1. Whenever you use a 1, you get a stack, and then your 4th ability consumes it to deal increased damage. So this normally is a slow cooldown, but if you fly, you can see it gives you a stack back. So now I'm back up to 3. So I'll just do that really quick. So this also has the bug with the 20% crit rate. It still has Repentance on it, and it applies that, so that means that you can use your other guns and get the other gun effects. So if you were using high power rounds, you get bonus damage. Special rounds, you get an AoE. Impact gives us the mana, which we've already talked about, and general rounds gets damage. However, none of these are relevant except for the impact rounds for this build, but you do lose, compared to the Divine Surge build, you lose the continuous damage affix on this, so you cannot use Truly Deadly Arson, which is a 20% damage increase. That's why we're using Wave of Light instead. There's no continuous damage on this build, so you can't make use of it. And that is largely where Divine Surge is making up its damage, because it doesn't have the 20% crit rate built in. I'm sure they probably did that intentionally, but Divine Surge is still weaker than this, even if you do that, but you can still play it if you want. They're close. Until this crit rate is fixed, they're close in damage. Alright, so I guess the elephant in the room would be, why am I not using Arcade Blaze? So for one, I don't have a good one. But for two, unless I'm fighting exactly one target, which would be like a Colossus fight, this ability just does less damage than Power Beyond. It's not worth using Arcade Blaze. This basically like doubles the damage of your skill 1. So, but your skill 1 just does pitiful damage. So there's not really any point to it. And if you're doing Onslaught, most of your damage, the vast majority of your damage is coming from this. So, like, I can show you. Like, say we're just about to like fight like 5 creatures, right? Like, this isn't even going to be that much. There's just 5 things here. You'll hit way more than this in its traditional Onslaught thing, right? So I did 300 million, right? 20 million. So if I were to double that, Yeah, I have to be flying. Keep in mind, I have to be flying. So this is draining my mana. And it does 20 million damage, and that trigger mod would increase it to 40 million. But if I pressed that button, I'm not pressing my fly button, which is doing 300 million. So there's just no reason to use it. That's why you don't use... that is why I don't recommend flying. So don't fly, because you only need the flying to trigger this trigger mod. So because it requires you to have a levitation skill active to trigger this. So there's just no point. It just doesn't matter at all. And since we're running Power Beyond, we don't need to be flying, so just press this when you have it, and then you're going to get way more damage with Power Beyond than you are with this thing. So I do think that if a character is using Power Beyond and they're not a global or a ground dot type character, then there's something wrong with the trigger mods that they were intended to be used. Like this thing is severely undertuned. Like it should be doing like 3 times this damage or something. It's just bad. So don't use it. It's a trap. Don't be flying. This will just consume your mana. You don't need Wave of Light. That's what I was saying earlier. You can just run Peacemaker, because if you're not flying, look how much mana this uses. It's nothing. This doesn't use anything. So just don't fly. Don't be trapped in that misjudgment. And I hope I haven't seen any other guides. I don't really watch that much content for TFD. Weirdly enough, I guess I watch a little bit of it, but I haven't looked up any guides for these new mods, so I might have stuff wrong. If I have stuff wrong, you guys let me know, and I'll fix them, and I'll take the videos down and I'll fix them. But yeah, don't run the other mod, just from Power Beyond, and it's going to save you mana, and you're going to do way more damage. So that's the main thing. And then I guess I didn't cover it, but yeah, your fourth, you consume stacks, and it throws like this hammer thing that she has. I kind of wish it was a melee mod, but whatever. Instead, you just throw maces at things. But basically, this does so much more damage than this thing. Even if you're running the other mod, this still does more damage. This is like 70 to like 80 million a cast. It's like something around that. And this is like 40 million, even if you're running this trigger mod, and it's like a perfect version of that trigger mod. It does 40 million, so it's still less. But it does obviously give you this, and then this gives you more damage. So like if you are rotating through these, when you average out all of the damage, like doing 7 casts of this plus 1 cast of this is about as much damage as 1 cast of this. It's like slightly less, actually. So you just want to prioritize doing this. You pretty much only use this button when there's nothing in range that you would hit with this. So you're like running to your next target. So like if this was an onslaught and I'm like over here, well, I'm not flying to it yet. So I can like shoot something, and then while I'm like running over to it, and then when you actually get there, like you should just be pressing this button. So, and then if you happen to have like 7 stacks of this, then go ahead and you can like chuck a mace at something and hit it, right? And it'll do damage. I also think the range on this is like bugged with the stacks. I don't know. This mod is like buggy. I don't know. They need to do something with it. You do get damage reduction while you're in the air with this. That'd be like probably the only thing that, I don't know. I think you get that just when you're jumping too. So you don't need to, yet again, you just don't need to have the flying. So, I don't know. Is that everything? Did I cover everything? Yeah, just build crit. The crit rate's bugged. Standard build. Get some HP. You could replace this with like Dangerous Ambush if you want. Power Beyond. Don't be flying. Don't press this button. Spam this button. It's a 1-button build. Only use this when you're out of cooldowns. It's strong. It's a good build. It's very powerful. If they fix this crit rate, it's very insane, but as of right now, it's a little bit above average. And it's pretty competitive with Divine Surge. So I definitely think most people are going to like this more than Divine Surge, because Divine Surge is janky, but I don't know. Whatever. That's the build. Is there anything else I need to cover with this? Let me think for a second here. Actually, I'm not going to think for a second. There's no reason for me to make this video longer. I'm just yapping. I gotta kill Wall Crasher anyway. On Harris. Go watch my Harris guide if you want to know how to do 200 million damage a second to Wall Crasher and kill him in like 10 seconds. Actually, it's 15, but whatever. If I remember anything, I'll put it in the comments. So that's it. Have a nice day, everyone. And yet again, if I have stuff wrong on any of my builds, just tell me, and I'll take it down and or fix it and or put a note in the comments somewhere. So thank you all. Have a nice day.